Okay, so today we are going to be looking at how to find out owner's information based off things like APN, or if we just have a name, the owner's name, or the address, or something like that. So we have our master list of prospects, but what we're going to do first is we're going to open up Sandicor. Remember, I've talked about these two before. I've done videos for all these already. But there's always our Sandicor and Data Connect logins down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Sandicor and open that up. And we would log in normally. I didn't show the login right there, but I've been to that page before where you type in your username and password, which I'm just not going to show for the video's purposes. But when you log in, this is what you get. And so what this means is this takes you to the overall MLS. Well, part of it is, but this gets you to the NSDCAR homepage. And there's a lot of information on here. We don't really mess with a lot of this stuff, but what we do is we're going to open up something called Paragon. So we click that, and this opens up Paragon 5, which is this most recent program of the MLS. And this, we could search for properties here. There's kind of just the main homepage messages and stuff here. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to tax. There's an upper banner right here which has home, search, listings, CMA, contacts, financials, something called tax. And this brings a drop down, and we're going to hit CRS Tax Search. I don't really know what CRS is. Oh, it says powered by CRS data. Maybe that's the company that just acquires data somehow. Or maybe it's like, stands for, it could stand for whatever. So what we're going to do now is we go to our prospects list. And these are all of it filled out already. But what we would do here is say we're going to look up, let's go Kiddendahl family. So here's an address. We're looking at line 79. Now sometimes when I put these in, sometimes we're not given the name right off the bat, but we're usually sometimes we're given an APN. So say we wanted to either put in more of this information, and we're never given this stuff over here. This far column, the mailing address, just because that doesn't show up on any plan check or anything like that. So we always have to use the MLS to look up that person and find their actual mailing address, and not just, the address that they're on. Sometimes they match up, but more often than not, we always have to go and do this to find their actual home address. So let's just do Kiddendahl family. So this is a new SFD that they're going to be building here at this address, but when we send mail letters out to them, we're not going to use this address because that's not where they live. That's the upcoming property, so that wouldn't do any good to send it there. So we have to find where they currently live. And how we do that is we go on the MLS, and we're going to take this. We are going to take this and take the APN. We're going to copy that. And what we do is, when we're on here, this gives us a bunch of different search options for what we could do. And we have name. Well, actually, first, there's San Diego County. We could search any county in here, but we're in San Diego, so this just automatically comes up as San Diego for us. And there's name, so we could enter the owner's name here. The street, if we know, the address of it, if we need to backtrack it that way. The subdivision, which I don't think I've ever really searched by subdivision, just because more often than not, it's kind of hard to figure out what communities or what subdivisions properties are in unless they're really well-known subdivisions. Like Rancho Pacifica or something that's really, has a name to it. and APN, but by far either name, street, or APN are the most. So in this case, we have their APN, and we're going to hit APN. We put their APN in like that, and then it should come up. Usually there's a 00 at the end, so we just click that, and then we're going to hit submit. And this takes us to this. And what we find here is we have the address, just via Rancho, yeah, right here. Rancho CLO. So this must be in CLO, obviously. That's not their house. That looks like it's just the entrance of CLO. But so what we find out here is, so this is their lot, residential vacant land, which means they're going to be building that house that we found. They're going to be building at this address, but we need to find where to mail them a letter to, because we want to try to send a letter so we can get this. What we're going to do is, this tells the owner information right here. So that was the APN we searched, and for this lot. But what we fill the rest of that information out with is, we can now see that it's the Kinnendall Living Trust. And it shows us their mailing address. So this is where they currently live, or at least what, it might not be their main property. It usually is, but it's definitely their home address that they chose to put down for it, so they live here. And yeah, so what we would do is we would copy this address, 15910 Wine Springs Drive, into this. We see it matches up because I've done this already. But this would be blank. So for all these, we would have to type in, 15910 Wine Spring Drive, because that's their mailing address we're going to send stuff to. And when we go back here, we have their name, Kinnendall Living Trust. Now sometimes what we do is, we don't know their first name and last name from this. It just shows the Living Trust. But sometimes what you can do is, when we scroll down on here, it shows a lot more of the property information about, just more specs about it, about what it is and everything like that. Listed at $725. Wow, $525. So they bought the lot for $500,000. Pretty big loan amount on it. Okay, moving on. So Kinnendall Living Trust. But if you scroll down and you want to find their actual name, sometimes it'll show their actual name, but a lot of these are often in trusts. But if you scroll down, it usually says the buyer and owner at some point. Now we have William G. Kickendall versus Kickendall. That's interesting. Huh. I did not catch that the first time. Kiddendall or Kickendall. I'm guessing it's Kickendall because this seems more legitimate here, but I'm guessing for some reason they have Kindendall here. I don't know, one of these is obviously wrong because they're close enough, but we'll get to that. So, Kinnendall Living Trust, it's actually William G. Kinnendall and Patricia J. Kickendall. So what do we have here? Kiddendall. Okay. Kiddendall family. We'll put William and Patricia. Okay. So that's what we do. We take their APN, but if we wanted to search by, a name, we could do that too. You know what? Let's search by a name and let's see whether it's Kinnendall or Kickendall. Because that's weird, and that shouldn't be the case. Kicken. Kickendall. Okay, so that's William G. We just found him. So it's probably Kickendall. Okay. So now we're searching by name. Remember, we searched by APN first, so now we hit name. So let's submit this guy, and let's see what we come up with here. Well, there's their current address. Remember the one that we just put, since we searched their actual name. That looks like a pretty nice house. Ivy Gate at Forest Ranch. Yeah, so Forest Ranch Phase 1, obviously those must be some kind of tract home. It looks like a standard place, but they bought a lot in Cielo. Kickendall, so it is Kickendall. Officially. William G, okay. 2007, 2008. Oh. So, what that could mean is they got divorced. Settlement date. Because 07 they were, okay, this and that. So I guess William Kickendall. I don't know, for whatever reason. Sometimes this means a divorce. The buyer, the seller was them. So maybe they did get divorced and it's just his property now. Whatever. Okay, but at the end of the day, it is Kickendall. So we have to make sure that, see, yeah, we had Kiddendall on here. It's actually with Kickendall. So we changed that because the other property that came up didn't match up with that. So now we know it's officially Kickendall and not Kiddendall. And that's how we search for that. We search by APN or the owner's name, and we do that for all these properties and fill out whatever information we were missing, which usually it's the home addresses, because that doesn't show up on anything but the MLS. So that's how we find the home address to where we could send mail letter to, and fill out the rest of this. And that takes care of Paragon and working the MLS, the CRS tax search for this one. Thanks.